Hello, and welcome to the NTU Research Application demonstration of accessibility. We'll be looking at the NTU Research Application, which is this one you can see right in front of you right now, also known as the NTU Researcher Application, and the NTU Research Application, which is used for reading the data that is uploaded through this form. So in the upload application, we can see we've got distinct areas between the non-editable areas and the editable areas. So the non-editable you can see on the left is using a dark text and a light background, and the editable you can see on the right with hints and suggestions which suggest that you can edit the area. So when we open up the application, we're presented with this view. The only editable areas that are not following the dark blue and light text background are the buttons. This is just so it's a bit more of a clear indication that they are slightly different from your edit text box areas. So let's go ahead and get started. So if I put in here app demonstration and just throw a few letters in here. Okay, good. So one of the things I included in this was the ability to tap the background, because obviously different devices have different ways of closing the keyboard and not everyone's quite familiar with that. So if I tap the background under the abstract, it closes the keyboard. Another element we have is the choose date that comes up on screen. This was a bit of an easier method of making sure that the data's valid for the correct format. And this just follows a standard Google Calendar format there. So if I throw in a random date, there we go. So let's go ahead and throw in a random letter in there, an author, John Smith. So you can see here that the text is still writing in white. It's a clear distinction between the background and the other elements. We've also included an image. You can see here next to the subjects of the drop down. So if I click on that now, that comes up with the drop down menu. It's made on screen due to the complexity of trying to change the color of the actual spinner. So we've made it so that this comes out a bit bigger, so it's a bit more obvious what your choice will be. There's also a little white arrow, down arrow there, so it's clear that's a drop-down menu and has a slightly different functionality to the edit text boxes. Also included is data validation. So if I try and submit this now, it'll tell me that my email is invalid. So if I throw in just a random email here, that should then be okay. As you saw just then, when I click next, it goes down to the next editable text box. This follows suit all the way down. So if I start up here and I hit next, and it goes down to there. If I go from here as well, next, that lets me go to all the editable text boxes and flow through quite nicely. If I forget to enter a specific field, it'll also come up with a quick and succinct reminder. Please fill in fields. So if I throw this back in, these are kept swift and to the point, just so that the user isn't having to read lots of information. They can go through it as quickly as possible, and it's not hindering on their time. So if I now click, we've also got a web link, as you can see on the left. It's optional, so let's go ahead and throw one in anyway. The upload would work with or without this, but let's throw it in for measurement's sake. Okay, so now if I hit submit, we'll have a quick, easy uploading data and upload complete. That's a quick and easy reminder to the user that the data's been uploaded, the form's been cleared, so they can throw in a new bit of research. Okay, welcome to the NTU Research Application. This is the application that we used for the reading of the information that we uploaded previously to this. So you can see here we're following a similar style design again. So we've got the dark blue areas that are clickable, the areas that aren't clickable are in white. We follow a standard Android element here, so if I click the top 3 lines, comes up with the scroll out menu, and that gives us similar options to what we've got on the home screen. This is universal throughout the application, so it can be used at any point throughout the use, so the user is always familiar and friendly with that. So let's go ahead and continue. So we can see here at the bottom we've got 3 dark areas, so these are a bit more highlighted as buttons. So if I were to click on computing, for example, this comes up with all the computing options. So we've kept the style so that areas relative to each other are tightly close together. So we can see at the top here we've got the search bar, and that's followed by the drop down menu of what we can search by. So if I go ahead and type in app and click search button, that comes up with anything that mentions the word app. We can also do the same with lead authors and abstracts. It searches for what's inside it. So obviously those are all packed together closely. If I were then to go and click on app there, it comes up with what we entered earlier. So we can see all the key information here. 2 key buttons at the bottom there, following the same style as we saw earlier. So if I click on message board, that comes up with the message board relative to that piece of research. So one thing we've got here is that elements close together are the same. So if I type in my name and my message, I loved this research, and then click submit, that then uploads this element here at the top. So that's a friendly reminder, so that the user, we don't have to bother the user with unnecessary reminders. It just instantly refreshes on the screen and shows them. This element, as you can just saw before when it flashed, constantly refreshes to keep the user updated with information as to what they would expect. Again, we followed a similar style, so anything that's related to each other is tightly packed together. So if I was to go on one from earlier, so if I go on here and click on the message board, all the messages are tied closely together in a scrollable area. This is what the user most likely would expect from a message board, and then obviously all the edit elements are tightly packed together as well. And using the scroll out menu, I can click out and go back again. Android makes recommendations that the buttons should be of a reasonable size, so that we can have decent touch targets, and we can easily access them. So you can see here these buttons are quite wide, quite large. If someone has a large title of their research, that will all fit nicely in the button. And as you can see, it's scrollable as well, so we can all scroll through all the images and still access them all. And because they're quite large and quite spaced out from each other, it's quite easy to click one. So as you can see here on the displaying research element, we have quick and succinct statements to clearly define what the data is. So as you can see there, wireless networks, that's the title of the research. Got abstract there, we can see the abstract, we can scroll down through it. Date of publication, so we've got that there, lead author and lead author's email. And then we've clearly got the message board button. And if I go on an example here, we can clearly see the view online element, so which when the user clicks it, comes up with the URL that was entered in previously. Quick demonstration of how we use the accessibility features installed in Android to allow blind or hard of seeing users to make use of the application. So we've got some good feedback options from this. So if we have a listen.
Computing button.
So there you go, you can clearly see it's a button. If I double tap
View
there.
research.
So we've got there all the buttons there. So if I click in the top,
Edit box, search research for full stop, double tap to edit.
a little bit overkill, but that's Google.
Keyboard displayed.
So if I go ahead and type in
Shift is off. Shift is off. Capital A, P, P, P. Search button.
there you go, see we started to get some decent feedback there. So if I click on
App demo button.
there you go. It's clearly feeding back some
Research
decent
page.
information from
Keyboard
the full
hidden.
screen.
Have I do end of END.
There you go, you see it reads out the information that is displayed by the user. If I type that.
Date of publication. 17th March 1999. Lead author. John Smith.
You get the idea. So if I click on
Message board
there,
button. Message board.
so I can come in here, type in this.
Edit box, enter your name.
Double
Keyboard displayed. Shift is off. Capital L. Capital L. E. E. E.
There you go.
Edit box, enter your message.
So there you go. Type
Double
in this.
tap. Shift is off. Capital A. Capital E. Capital E. A. H.
Submit that.
Submit button.
So if I were not to put
Edit box
anything
A.
in here,
Backspace. H deleted. Capital A deleted. All submit button.
so it would come up with an error message.
Keyboard hidden. Please enter valid message and name.
There you go.
Edit box and keyboard displayed.
So if I now type in a valid message,
H. H. E. E. Submit button. Keyboard hidden.
so then it clearly displays at the top. So if the user were now to tap up here,
Name. Lee 21st March 2017. 10:03. Message. He.
there you go, clearly comes back with some decent feedback there.